I didn't know something was wrong at first. It started with small things. Things that didn't feel important enough to question. A letter that never arrived. A phone call that was answered too quickly. A conversation that stopped when I entered the room. At my age, you learn not to jump to conclusions. You learn to give people space. You learn to trust. And that was my first mistake. I trusted the silence. My nephew moved in after my sister passed away. He said it would be temporary. Just until he got back on his feet. He was polite at first. Helpful, always smiling. He handled the groceries. Paid the bills online. Said it was easier that way. You shouldn't worry about these things anymore, he told me one evening. I've got it covered. I remember nodding. I remember feeling relieved. I didn't realize I was slowly being removed from my own life. The first time I noticed something was missing, it wasn't money. It was a document. The folder where I kept my insurance papers was no longer in the drawer. I asked him about it casually. "Oh, I reorganized," he said. "It's safer this way." That answer should have bothered me. But it didn't. Because when someone speaks confidently, we assume they're right. Weeks passed. Then months. I stopped seeing mail addressed to me. He said everything was digital now. I stopped answering certain calls. He said they were spam. And slowly, without realizing it, I stopped asking questions. Because every time I did, his smile tightened just a little. One evening, I overheard him on the phone. His voice was low, serious. "No, she doesn't know," he said, "and she won't." I stood still in the hallway. My heart didn't race. It sank. When he noticed me, he ended the call quickly. "Who was that?" I asked. "Work," he replied, too fast. That night, I didn't sleep. Not because I was afraid, but because something inside me had finally woken up. I went through drawers he never used to touch. In the back of a cabinet, I found copies of documents. My documents. With changes. Signatures I didn't remember making. Numbers that didn't add up. I sat at the kitchen table until morning, reading everything slowly. Very slowly. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I needed to understand how far this had gone. So I made a call. Not to the police. Not to a lawyer. But to an old friend who worked in financial auditing. I asked her one simple question. If someone wanted to quietly take control of another person's life, how would they do it? She paused before answering. "That depends," she said. "Does the person trust them?" The next afternoon, she came over. She didn't accuse. She didn't raise her voice. She reviewed. She confirmed. Then she looked at me. "This isn't a mistake," she said. "It's deliberate." The words sat between us. Deliberate. That evening, my nephew came home. Cheerful. Talking about dinner plans. About the future. I watched him the way you watch someone when you finally see them clearly. Not as family. Not as help. But as someone who had underestimated me. I waited 2 more days. I let him believe nothing had changed. Because people are careless when they think they're in control. On the 3rd day, a man came to the door. Not in uniform. In a simple suit. Polite. Quiet. Professional. My nephew froze when he saw him. That reaction told me everything. The conversation that followed wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Facts were presented. Accounts explained. Permissions revoked. My name appeared on every document. His didn't. He tried to speak. The man in the suit held up a hand. Not today, he said calmly. My nephew looked at me then. Really looked. As if seeing me for the first time. I was just trying to help, he said. I nodded. I know, I replied. That's what makes this so dangerous. He left that night. No shouting. No drama. Just a suitcase and a door closing softly. The house felt quiet again, but different. Honest. Later, sitting alone, I thought about how close I came to losing everything. Not because I was weak, but because I was kind. Because I trusted. Because I stayed silent when I should have listened more closely. Here's what I've learned. Silence can be peaceful, but silence without awareness is permission. And the moment you start paying attention, everything changes. If someone ever tells you not to worry, make sure you understand why. And if something feels off, don't rush to speak. Observe first. Because silence isn't weakness. It's only dangerous when it belongs to someone else.